Hey guys, welcome back. Part number 3 of the Zoukei-Mura 32nd scale BF-109 build. This week we're going to work on the main fuselage and bring all the subcomponents from part 1 and 2 together to make a pretty epic looking display piece, I think. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back. So Richie here from RW Hobbies, and we're going to continue working on this beautiful kit. Great, highly recommend it. If you haven't done so already and you're interested in this kind of genre of modeling, go out and buy it. Great price for what you get. Amazing detail out of the box. Other than seat harnesses, which you don't get, which we talked about last week. So we've done part number 1, we did the engine. Part number 2, we did the cockpit tub. And now part number 3, we're going to work on the main fuselage. Now, if you're just joining this build, this is fully detailed, has a lot of internal parts, and I want to showcase that. I don't want to cover it up. So the game plan was always kind of using one side of fuselage on here, and really kind of building the framing out, and then leaving the other side off. But in thinking about it and looking how this assembles, I think I'm going to definitely use a second side somewhere along the line. I think I need to cut back, use the back half, so you're not going to see all the tabs for the tail and the horizontal stabilizers, and around the wing fits. The wing fits on the front here, we might need a little piece there. So rather than just having this whole side open, I think I'm going to need to cut some chunks out and maybe have, use the other side. I don't think I can go. It'll look weird if I don't use it. I think so. We definitely know, I definitely know from looking at these instructions that there's going to be more of these BF-109s coming out in different flavors. There's so many types of BF-109, and they're going to milk this, I think, and bring out 4 or 5 maybe. The reason I know that in the instructions, we have to fill a panel. So I've done that already with some putty here, and just literally just filled that where it's cut out the panel line, and put instructions. It just needs sanding back. Also, there's I think there's a couple of different instrument panels in the sprues too, and some extra plastic and stuff. So I think they prep themselves ready for future releases from this kit. So let's look at instructions first of all and kind of figure out the game plan here, what we got going on. And we're gonna have to kind of figure this out as we go along as well, because again, I'm not sure exactly with assembly what I need and what I don't. So here's a perfect example in this picture right here. You can see what the end game is by the end of this episode, and that's to get this. But instead of this, like I mentioned, instead of this whole fuselage side here, we're going to cut it, kind of get some tweezers, and I kind of show you here the game plan. We want to kind of cut it across here and down here. So all this bit here is going to be removed, so you can see all this beautiful framing, which we'll see in a minute. So 41 parts in this section, and we're continuing exactly where we left off last week. So the whole page here is really stuff to do first before you even get started, and that's like I mentioned. So we filled the panel right here, the panel lines. There's a few other little parts here. It's just, again, some preparation work needed along the lines. A few holes to drill. Curiously, you got for the aerial, you got to put 2 parts together, then drill the hole down, hold them together before you glue it. So things like that. Moving along, water methanol tank. Sorry. Again, putting all the framing in, which we painted all separately. Some radio boxes by looks of it, and various other components going in here. It says here transceivers, radio. Yeah. So we're just working for the framing. Again, looks like you have more framing parts. Put the nose wheel in. Sorry, the nose wheel. The rear wheel in. The tail wheel, and then we're sandwiching it all together. And this is a point where we need to figure out on this side what we're going to do. So again, like I mentioned, I think we're going to cut it somewhat like this, and or maybe just cut the back off and cut the front off. And I want to see the cockpit tub, so we're definitely going to cut across, but I want to leave that bit for the wing to attach. So again, we need to do some dry fitting with the wing and kind of figure out where we're going with that. And then we end up with the stabilizers and elevators. Moving on, looks like we're adding some struts for the main gear and attaching the engine part to the main fuselage here, and that takes us up to the wings for next time around. So that's a lot going on here. This is the main crux of the build. Again, we took a lot of time detailing the engine and cockpit tub, looking awesome. So we want to make sure we continue with the rest here and set it in place. So we got a whole nice fuselage to look at. So that's the game plan. A lot going on in this section. It's going to take me a few days worth of work here. So I need to study the instructions here, the preparation. Like I said, I've done that one, sand this down, and I'm going to start cutting some pieces off, getting rid of some seam lines here, like on this this tank, and start painting some stuff up, and we'll basically work along building the former and all the ribs and the sections here and the framing on this side, which is the starboard side. Okay, so cracking on here, and you see a lot of progress made. Just put this in place and see how it fits, and it does fit pretty perfectly. The cockpit tub we did last, part number 2. So that's something like that. And just to reinforce my point with this guy, you see that beautiful detail in here. If I just put this on the side on as is, you're not going to see any of that. You can cover it up. So we don't want that at all. So what I've done is I've marked kind of what I'm thinking here with a Sharpie. So with a very sharp blade, I'm going to cut down, score it a few times, follow the pound lines. So down the framing here, down here, down and across. Get rid of all this bit in the middle. So when we put it together, all this stuff is going to be opened up so you can actually see what's going on. Taking this guy out. It's going to attach very well here. There we go. Obviously, you want to paint the sides here first, so we don't have to worry about masking later on. And you can see more detail what we've done here. So basically, put the frames and painted up all the components separately and just super glued it in. All these frames back here, I did glue in before I painted because it made painting a little bit easier. And just usual stuff, a little bit dry brushing here and there with these guys. You can see that, and yeah, I made a mistake. I did paint the silver, and it's supposed to be black, so I had to cut it all out. Well, pull it out from the super glue, repaint it, and glue it back in again. But I think we got there in the end, and I hope you agree. But it's looking pretty awesome. Same deal, same color paints as done for the rest of the build. It's really only 3 or 4 colors we're using. Same we did part 1 and part 2, and exact same strategy of white and coming back and post shading to break it up and create some faded look here on the inside of the aircraft. So before this does get all put together, you do have to do the tail wheel that goes in there. Won't forget that, and obviously we need surgery. So next up for me is to get my sharp knife, just run it down here and try to cut out as neatly as possible this section. So when it goes together, you'll see a lot more of this detail inside here, and it'll open up a little bit more. Okay, so this is very soft plastic, so just 3 or 4 times running my sharp blade down here across where I'm following the pound lines, and if I just kind of fold this down like this, it pulls right out. And I obviously need to sand this down and make it smooth, but let's see how we're looking on here. And there we go. So if I go the tub in, and you will see we're kind of looking like that. So you can see all that beautiful detail. So I'm going to sand this back and make it a little bit better, and we go paint the inside and move along with this one. All right, so as you can see, we've got the tail wheel on. And just a thing to note with this one, I did paint this lower fuselage color, this panel right here. You have to put it in first because from the inside, and I think with some masking, it helped kind of painting that let the mask quite so close. So the wheel's on, no problem at all. And we added the cockpit up, and I was a little concerned because there's a bit of a lip or step, and I thought, oh god, like not fitting right. But once you have this guy right here, it's supposed to be that it sits on top. It's actually a perfect fit, no problem at all, absolutely perfect. So glued this in, a little bit of super glue down the side, held it with some pegs just to hold it in place. Fitting perfectly, as you can see. These guys goes right inside this camera. This guy goes on the inside of this frame right here, and looking awesome. So I just weathered it same way as we done part 1 and 2. I'm doing the same products, everything, keep it uniformed. So all the ribbing there, just a light wash, Starship filth once again, just mixed up one of these guys with some enamel thinners, very thin, and just kind of ran over all the lines and stuff to pick out the detail. So this is the last chance you're going to see it before it gets buttoned up, and here is my other side. So as I mentioned, I did cut out this section right here, and I found it was still a little high because, you know, covering a little bit of the cockpit detail I wanted to kind of see. So I did come back and cut a little bit more off this, so, you know, what, like another 5mm or something off this. So you can see you've got a bit of a step. So this is the inside, obviously you'll paint it up, weathered the same way as the other side. So basically from the power line, I just dropped down about 5mm and then across, straight line across with a ruler, and just using a craft knife with a newish blade, you know, 4 times over, it just fell right apart. This plastic is very soft, no problem at all. Came back with my sanders and just sanded it down smooth, and painted the edge here with the cockpit color, which is the XF63, I think it is, the German grey. So save some masking later on. So this side is done, and if I put it on top and kind of loosely fit it here, you see what we've got going on. So we've got the back end taken care of. We've got, you know, along the spine, the back end where we're going to put the tail, and we drop down and you can see all that, the fuel tank, you can see all the cockpit detail, and there'll still be room for the wing right here, hopefully. And you can see the struts here for the gear coming out and stuff too. So yeah, see definitely see inside with that bit. But once this will obviously be painted a fuselage color. On the other side, it'll just, like, you know, normal. And that one's open. And we'll mask it up and paint it carefully, and it should look awesome. Maybe take a red pen, just run around the inside. I don't know yet if I'll do that, but yeah, that's how we're looking. So I'm really happy how, you know, just a little bit of surgery. Again, nothing really complex. Just following the lines here, ready on the panel lines on here for the ribbing, and just using a knife, which, like I said, just comes apart. No problem at all. So yeah, definitely glad we did that, because if not, you know, if it's like that, you don't see anything, right? You don't see that beautiful detail. So now you can see much more that work we've done. So I'm going to glue this on just with some extra thin, you know, peg it up, take my time, go through, glue it on. Then we need to work on the tail and the elevators, and then we need to attach the engine to the front as well, which would be awesome. So we have the engine, and then really get moving on here, get this thing working, you know, getting to fuselage pretty much complete. So I'm going to take my time, get this thing glued nice and straight and level, and no gaps, hopefully. And yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, and we are done with another stage. So looking fantastic, no problems at all. And part 1 we did the engine, part 2 we did the cockpit tub, sub-assemblies, brought it all together, and part 3, this part, we did the fuselage. So you can see all together it looks fantastic. The detail is amazing. It fit no problem at all. And I was all worried because with the engine there were so many hoses and pipes and stuff have to fit into the bulkhead here. I thought, it's going to be a nightmare, but it just fell into place. No problems at all. So that's how we're looking. And as you can see, the whole, cut it all open along here, and this is how it's going to be displayed on this side. Obviously it'll be painted, you know, painted the markings and stuff around the outside. And on this side, we have the fuselage. Beautiful engine. Again, I'm not going to put any cowling on. I'll put the propeller on and stuff, but I just don't want to hide this beautiful detail here. So this will be left like this with just the wings added pretty much. And again, yeah, nothing bad I could say about this kit. I'd say go out and buy it for sure. It's fantastic. A lot of fun. No problem at all cutting the back out here. Again, soft plastic, just with a knife, cut open, no problem at all. And you have the added benefit of all the structure and the lines in place. So you just follow the line. It's like you don't even need a ruler. So the other thing was the back here, you know, it's very modular, I guess, different versions. So it's, you know, not quite that nice I'd like at the back, but you know, we can take care of that. On the top here, no problem at all. These have a seam line in real life. I did give it a quick rub with a sponge. I did think there was a gap at the bottom, but there wasn't. It looks like there's a gap, but that's just the paint color. The paint color looks dark, so it looks like there's a gap, which there isn't. Added part, see the engine below, again, the detail, added this guy on. And yeah, I think there's a panel that goes on here. Again, I'll leave this all open at the front because it's just very nice detail. And I did the work, did the painting. I don't want to hide it. So yeah, that's where we're at. Loving this one. As the loud motorcycle comes blasting past the road. I didn't attach these two guys. I did note I did put the number on 4, so I know which one's left and which one's right. This is part number 4 of the main gear. So they're painted, need to be weathered and stuff, and they just fit on the outside here. I did fit the engine. They don't compete with the engine or anything like that, and it's going to be a lot easier just to paint this guy first and then add these on at the very end. So they'll be put in a safe place. Again, I marked one so I know which one's which side's which. Yeah, but there we go. Beautiful. Looking pretty sleek. Once we add the wings, which will be next week, we'll definitely add some more kind of width to this guy. Now, the wings, quick preview. I looked through the instructions, a lot of parts. Again, we're going to do one closed up this side, and then this side will be open with all the, all the framework and stuff showing. But yeah, there we go. Again, beautiful 109. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you next week for part number 4. Have a great week. Goodbye.